If you take away only one thing from this video, I hope it'll be this question, which is, where have I been so obsessed with certainty that I have lost confidence? Welcome back to another video, everyone. Today, we're just gonna go into the Lenten journal. I'll talk about my experience trying to journal through Lent. The good, the bad, the hangups, the holdups. Ultimately, is mostly good stuff. Somehow I managed to publish 14 videos last month in March. Lent began at the beginning of February this year. And actually, I think that's one of the strengths about time-bounding journaling to something like the liturgical calendar or just like little seasons in the liturgical year, because sometimes trying out something when it comes to journaling for, say, a quarter or an entire year can feel like a really big investment, but maybe doing something for only a couple weeks feels like you're not doing enough or it's not enough time. Lent is kind of perfect. 40 days, obviously with all the Sundays in there, you end up closer to like 40 something days, I think 46 days, something like that. Between Ash Wednesday and Easter, all that time, I decided I was going to do this Lenten journal. I did it in this Paper Republic lay portfolio with their ruled paper notebook in here. And I'll link everything I talk about down in the description below. So if you guys have any questions about that, you guys can find more information about all these things. But today I just want to focus more on what the experience was like journaling through Lent, how you guys can pick up some of these bits of inspiration as far as time-bound thematic journaling. I think also binding this to more of like a location thing, only taking this journal, this notebook with me to, say, like adoration, mass, and then leaving it here on my desk so I would use it for my like morning and evening devotionals. But otherwise not taking this with me everywhere, like not letting this become my EDC. Talk a little bit about that in this video as well. And what I realized, all these different methods and sort of experiments that I was doing over Lent can absolutely be applied at any time during the year, whether you're in ordinary time, Advent, however you're, counting the cycles of the sun and the moon and the stars. I think this video is going to be really valuable for you. I was actually having a very good conversation with my brother a couple months ago where we were talking about how sort of the liturgical calendar in the Christian world synchronizes both the lunar and solar calendars, right? That's why Easter is always on, I think it's the first Sunday after the full moon, after the first full moon or the first equinox, I think is how it works. There's something powerful to that. I'm not the astronomer guy, but there's something to be said about that. Okay, so I've talked a little bit about this notebook throughout the last couple of months since I started it. One of the easiest things that I just did to solve like hey, what am I going to journal about or do throughout this Lenten period was I picked up a devotional. I actually grabbed Consecration to St. Joseph by Father Don Calloway. I actually almost picked this up like on a dare because I thought there's no way someone could write an entire book about a guy who never talks in the Bible, and I was proven wrong. Very, very well, I was proven wrong. This was a great read for Lent, also because St. Joseph's feast day is March 19th. And so this lined up with Lent very well this year. Depending on when Ash Wednesday falls, this may not be a good Lenten devotion, but it still is a great little 33-day devotional that you can do. And I copied the Litany of St. Joseph in here so I could have it every morning, pray through it. That was really powerful. But I did have to pick a few other things because this sort of consecration ended in sort of the second half of March. So I still needed a few more weeks to like pad out. And I just chose The Way by San Jose Maria Escriva, or Camino. Really good sort of just brief, short, pithy meditations that will get your brain going. This actually ended up being a really good morning read to just light a fire under my bum and get everything going. On top of that, I don't know how I got so fortunate, but I chose to pair that with God and Daring, which again I've talked about in several videos in the last couple months. The biography of San Jose Maria Escriva by Andres Vasquez de Prada. English and Spanish versions available for all of these too. That book was phenomenal because San Jose Maria Escriva had such a devotion to St. Joseph. It ended up being a really good pairing for the Lenten season. So in that way, I basically had picked out a book to read sort of in the morning for a morning devotional with the Consecration of St. Joseph book, and then later The Way. And then I had this sort of evening biography journal that was sort of keeping me in that same mindset going to bed, but with more sort of that narrative and unfolding that I personally like to read before going to bed. One of the things that I think really worked with journaling through Lent is I still kept my big A5 notebook for journaling through like daily things and things that I would normally put in, like, say, like a daily journal, which if you guys want to see more about that, let me know down in the comments below. I also kept my A6 notebook. Been experimenting still with this woodsy leather notebook cover, but I was just keeping my field notes in here. So if I came across something that made sense to put into the devotional, it ended up working out that I would just get it twice. I would be able to put it in, say, my A5 notebook while I'm journaling, or I'd put it in my field notes notebook and then copy it over at the end of the day when I do my sync, or at the end of the week when I would sync up my notebooks. I really love this line from St. Josemaria Escriva: prayer, 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 this is the best artillery. That is so good. A lot of this notebook ended up becoming just little bits that I was picking up from reading The Way or the Consecration of St. Joseph, little bits of dialogue from God and Daring. Yeah, this is now getting into like a Holy Week. After I'd finished the Consecration of St. Joseph, I was beginning to read through The Way and Trust Always in Your God. He Does Not Lose Battles, from 733 in Camino, The Way. I made a whole separate video on this that I will link in the description down below, but sort of extracting this journaling method from St. Josemaria Escriva, his concept of these Catherines, which like I said, I made a whole video on. This was really helping me have a concise sort of journaling process, or I guess method, as I was processing some of that information that was coming through, whether it was different insights, I guess, praying for other people, praying for myself, my own family, friends. This really helped me get a lot of clarity. And that idea of taking on a particular saint, putting on this particular voice of an individual, and seeing through their lens how they have experienced Jesus, and especially gone through moments of struggle, like a true Lenten season. Yeah, there was something about that this year, because I think, especially in the United States, especially in America, everyone can get really individualistic and just say like, oh, well, it's my own personal thing with God, and that's definitely part of it. But I think you get a whole nother dimension to it when you start seeing it all through the lens of someone who's lived, died, and gone to be with the good Lord. And I've been opening myself up more and more and more to that in these last few years. I have a good biography of Saint Dominic that I'm going to be plowing through here in a couple weeks after I finish some more of my readings that I've been doing. I also realized I picked up the new Arthur Brooks book, The Meaning of Your Life. So far, so good. I'm about a chapter or two in, but would also highly recommend that. Oh, and this video is just mostly a fun, chill video. So if you're already watching by this point, hopefully you're having a good time. But if you guys haven't seen the video I did on these little e-readers, the XT e-ink 4, yeah. I have my own devotional loaded up in here. I actually went back to my own devotional that I wrote and released last year, Restored in the Rhythm. I know a lot of you guys have talked about wanting to support this channel. If you're someone who's also especially interested in like language learning, the traditional Latin Mass, all that stuff, Restored in the Rhythm, my devotional that I put together, has both the Vulgate Latin along with English translations, and it's a 28-day little devotional. So you could use something like this for Lent as well. I know some people, I actually got several messages over on Substack of you all using this particular devotional for not just Lent, but also to kickstart the beginning of the year. So if that's something that interests you, I'll link that in the description below as well. That's really one of the best ways that you can help support this channel. And I hope you'll find it fruitful, valuable, and good for you as well. I really like carrying this little e-reader around, the X4. It's great for like little devotionals like this, where I might just want to read a few pages of something. Really amazing. What a time to be alive. That was a great thing to come back to, actually, with this particular notebook. I keep a separate notebook for language learning and practicing. I'm trying to keep my Spanish up to date, as long as, practice my English. Sort of my spiritual journey, my journey these last few years has been sort of, I guess, putting back together my English and Spanish brain, having lived sort of between both Mexico and the United States, and having had experiences from both of those, having family from Mexico, and that's where a lot of my faith background and history has come from, especially to read God and Daring, the Consecration of St. Joseph, The Way. These were all great because they have these sort of Spanish idioms. There's moments where we're using Latin and English, and to be able to combine all three of those into one devotional, I really like this line, In laticia nulla dies sine cruce. I hope I got that right. I know my Italian Latin speakers are probably having a field day with me, but enjoy not a day without the cross. Just picking up little bits like that. That was really what my whole devotional was about last year, that I put together, was finding these beautiful little lines in Latin, and there's just some bits that speak differently when it's in a different language, especially once you've learned that language, and especially when it's Latin and it's the language that for the majority of church history, I know especially in Latin America, obviously, that's been the language of so many prayers of the faithful. So to be able to practice that, to be able to sit with that, spend time with that, that's really special. Okay, I think the last thing I'll say, going back here to I guess the first Friday in March, keeping this notebook throughout Lent, and then documenting a lot of, I think, the prayers that I had, not just for myself, but for my family, my wife, my kids, friends, family members. It was wild to see how much transformation we experienced in just these last 40 days of fasting. That was a whole other thing, I guess, at the beginning of this notebook, writing down that I gave up red meat for all 40 days, not just on Fridays, not just on Wednesdays and Fridays, but I went for no red meat for all of Lent, which was really good. That really definitely changed something in me, and was a part of sort of that prayer and alms giving that just changed things. Made things a little extra special. But there were a lot of transformations this particular Lent. We had many friends actually, who were confirmed at the Easter service this year. We had one friend who chose Zélie Martin as her patron saint, the mother of Sainte Therese de Lisieux. Being alongside her and that journey was its own really special thing. Listening to her talk about Zélie, especially as someone who's now read Story of a Soul by Saint Teresa of Lisieux. Watching that evolution was really powerful. And another good friend that I got coffee with at the beginning of Lent, and documented that in this little Lenten notebook, and then to have a meal with him as we approached Holy Week, or got into Holy Week, and to see his transformation. He chose St. Joseph the Worker, and to have been in this great St. Joseph devotional throughout this particular Lent. I think this was from the Consecration of St. Joseph. To be courageous is to love the good more than you fear evil and suffering. I saw a lot of that this season, and not just in myself, but in so many people in this Lenten season who chose to be courageous and love the good more than a fear of evil and suffering. I think that's what our world needs a lot more of. What's great is I still have a few pages left in this thing. And I think I'll fill this out throughout the octave now of Easter as we arrive to Pentecost. I basically got about halfway into this notebook, so another 40 days or so should do the trick in filling this notebook up. But I really liked putting together this notebook. I know this is going to be one that I go back to probably every Lent now for the rest of my life. And I think making a little book like that for a particular season, where you know you're going to return to that season again, and you want to take those riches from the experience of a particular season forward into future seasons. Keeping a little notebook dedicated to that little season it's significantly impacted my life, changed my life. Not in like a clickbaity, thumbnail-y way, right? But like in an actual, I've tasted it, and yeah, it's real. Let me know down in the comments below, did you do any journaling through Lent? Or tell me about a time where you've taken on a devotional, anytime, any season, that has changed you. Let us know in the comments below so we can pick it up, learn from you, and just continue to be stoked on on living this life for eternal things. A special shout out to everyone who is Mexican out there, or Mexican descendants. This is the 100-year anniversary this year of the Cristeros, so that also made this journal, this notebook, very special to me. Shout Viva Cristo Rey for me, and say a prayer that the testimony of all those who are martyred in Mexico will continue to bear fruit for the church. With that, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. If you haven't yet, please do so. It really does help me out. And be kind both in life and in the comments below. Like this video to send good vibes across the internet. We'll do it again soon. Later.